It's time. It's not 1 minute more. How are you guys? How's the day going? Aye, good. That's the spirit. So, first day of talks, and now we go to the lightning talks. And if you don't know how it works, it's 5 minutes and then out. And thank you. And today we have a special guest who talks about Finnish culture. So let's start with Mari. Here we go.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Mari, and I'm here today to talk to you about something that we can't see here. It's about Finnish language, really. I've studied Finnish here in the University of Jyväskylä and made my master's thesis here. And over the years, I have gained expertise in communication at a workplace, both at the interpersonal and organizational level, obviously not with information technology. Okay, so today's topic is the pivotal no niin for beginners. And I'll show you an everyday Finnish phrase that can be your tool to opening a window to the language and the culture. And you can use it anywhere, anytime. And once you start paying attention, you will hear it around you in the spoken language quite often. For those of us who have a penchant for linguistics, here's some background info. We're looking at an interjection with a variety of possible translations, and to pass through the intended interpretation, just use the correct intonation depending on the context and you'll be grand. Unfortunately, we can only see it like partly. So, our first use case is acknowledging that something was said and letting others know what you think about it. The intonation and pitch are super important here. In a meeting, someone goes, "The company will be offering you bicycle benefits starting from next month." And the guy goes, "No niin, I'd rather have the soda machine." And the lady is excited. "Yes, no niin. I've been asking for this since 2021. Our second use case, signaling the changing of a topic, the closing of a discussion, the making of a decision with no niin. You can use this at the office with your team, with the family, or just anywhere when you need to change a topic. At school, the teacher goes, "No niin, does anyone have any questions?" Signaling it's time to move on. And move on, we will. And the list goes on with even more use cases. Nonni is very useful. In the case if you have to convey mild frustration in a socially acceptable manner, warning your opponent, so to say. Nonni, there's someone, a pet, your kid, the football team, doing something even when they were directly told not to do it. So you just knew it was not going to work. Nonni, you messed it up. Nonni, the screen is blank. Please note that the shortened version also appears in the Finnish dialect on its own, just as a pure neutral. So do assume that the speaker does not mean to offend you, even when they are using short vowels. And the next moment, someone's fallen off their bike or hurt their knee and they're all emotional over it and maybe even crying. So to comfort them, you hold them and use a calming no niin with very long vowels, so they'll be fine. For a deeper and even more varied understanding of the beauty of no niin, see the Jyväskylä-based, well, not there now, Jyväskylä-based stage artist Ismo Leikola's video on YouTube. He's also known to be very, very funny. Nonni, that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time. Have a great conference.
Noni. Next up, it's Martin.
Kiitos. Hello everyone.
As you may know, usually during the conference, we have an election for the next board. Unfortunately, we only have 2 nominees for 3 left seats on the board. So I don't want to blame or to shame anyone, because that's not the point of me being here. It's just, I know we are all busy, we all have life, but if no one step up sometimes to be part of the board or be part of the AI team, just an example, so some things will break. And so we postponed the vote until midnight tonight, so you will still have time to put your nomination on the website. If you need any help, I'm here until at least the end of the lightning talk. And I hope we will have a 3rd or maybe a 4th or a 5th nomination until then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And next up we have Eriko and preparing Astrid. Okay. Yeah.
So, hello, my name is Eriko Andrei Kiitos, right?
Yes.
Yes, I know one word in Finnish. And justo. 2? No, I just know one. The other one I keep forgetting. But I wanted to give you this lightning talk, the state of state, because I admit, yeah, I was kind of a diva this year, and I basically came in here without looking at the schedule beforehand. I knew my talks because someone was politely enough to send the times of my talk, so I was kind of aware. For instance, I was not aware the panel I was going to take part was today. I found out early today about this, and then at some point, okay, let's start the day, and I go, keynote, State of Plone. Okay, expected. And then, State of Plone 6 backend. Okay. And then state of Plone REST API. Okay. And there was also the one from my good friend Fred, that behind the scenes, the state of and direction of Plone community. Come on. What's the next one? The State of Plone Migrations by Philip Bauer. The State of Cookie Plone, or How to Break Things and Move Fast by Eriko Andrei, or the State of Plone Migrations version 2 by Jakob. Come on, we need to get better names, right? But jokes aside, one important thing is, this is a community of people that actually step up and do things. It's really nice to see so many people in here, some of them after a while. And I would like to basically invite all of you for my talk tomorrow that, wait a second, I need to find out where it is. At which time as well? I believe it's 3. Okay, it's in here at 3 p.m. It's about how you're going to create your next Plone, your next tech event website. For instance, Plone Tagung, I think it's coming. Every year is coming, so we have a tool for that. Plone Conference 2026, that's going to be hosted in... Silence. Man, I have no idea. I'm just trying to fish in here. But actually, I am going to invite you all to come here. I'm going to talk about creating an add-on that's back-end and front-end. How do you manage that? And most important, how do you overcome your burnout to try to help the community? That was it. Thank you all. And don't forget to nominate yourself for the Plone board. If you don't do that, I'm going to be really pissed and drunk. Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eriko. Next up is Astrid. Where in the world is Plone? And after that, it's Eric Breho and Jakob.
Sometimes when I'm sitting in my office in Stellenbosch, I wonder if I'm the only one working with Plone. I don't know if you sometimes feel like that too. we all, well, many of us are working remotely. And then what I do is then I think, okay, who else is busy? Who else is working on Plone? So I thought, let's quickly talk about where in the world is Plone, because there are some places where, okay, I've got inside information where I can see where people are working on Plone. And every time I go and have a look at this information, I realize that we are not alone. These are the maps on Matomo, and I've just put the URL at the top right there. So these screenshots I took this morning. It's obviously very time zone dependent. Brazil was asleep at that point. So throughout the day, these are real-time shots. You can see this was at 12:26 today. These people, well, this activity was on the PloneConf 2025 website. This was plone.org, and this I took at 3:15 this afternoon. You can see activity right across the globe. This is the community.plone.org. I assume these are all channels that you guys have been on. This is the 3, 4, and 5 docs. I think this was also 3:20. This is the last year's Plone conference website that people are still going to. There's content that you can get to from there. Right, okay. And where else can we connect? Who's ever been part of a tune-up day? Who's ever been on community? And comments, very nice, very nice. There's a link there. You can join one of the teams if you're feeling lonely and you want to have regular contact. You will be contacted regularly. Then Discord is there. I've thought of putting Discord there a couple of times because it does feel like we're on Discord a lot. Who's on Discord? Who's watched the YouTube videos? Who has watched some of our live streams? Erica and Co have had some nice live streams this year. Then there's the link to GitHub. Who's on GitHub? Who's not on GitHub, should we ask? Then who's been to a Plone conference? This is your free question. And then we have a lot of sprints. You can have a look there what the sprints are. Okay, then a question. Where else are we? What have I left out? Okay, you always get every prize. I've got a prize for you. And where else should we be? What's that? And then we have our yearly lead magnet from the marketing team. Jakob was our winner last year. So we have this, which is our newsletter. Comes out once every 2 months, and it's basically a dump of all the links to new things that have happened and some things that have been created on plone.org. So you go through the newsletter, you just click on the things that you want to read. And also gives you a bit of a refresher of what's coming up and what's just happened. So let's see who of you aren't on our mailing list yet. And the first one to sign up, I have a little something for you. And that's it. That's it from me.
Thank you, Astrid. I haven't had a chance to ring the bell yet, so hoping to get that excitement. So next, Eric and Jakob. All right, and after that, Plone MCP. Who's talking? Okay, and yeah.
All right, so I went from France to Finland by train to join you there. So yeah, it took 3 days and a half. So yeah, I know I'm lucky because not everyone can do that. And yeah, I'm totally aware that I can afford paying the price for the train, paying the extra hotel night. I can afford being away from home longer. So all of that is my privilege, right? But you might say, okay, whatever, 3 days now and 3 days back is too much, right? So is it that much? Is it a lot of time to reach Finland from France? Well, yes, it is, but just compare that to a 3-hour flight back and forth, so 6. That's actually 1 ton of CO2. that is not emitted in the atmosphere. So 1 ton is, I don't know if you're aware, but it's a big deal. 1 ton is basically half of my personal annual carbon emission budget if we want to keep under the 1.5 degrees raise of temperature. So yeah, 3 days is a lot, but how much do I value my own time, my personal time? Is it worth this amount of carbon? That's the question I had in mind, right? And maybe I should think, well, that's not on me to fix climate change problem. That's something that is to be addressed by the entire population of the world, right? The entire society, the humankind. Yes, well, maybe, but consider that the biggest carbon share is produced by richest people, and I'm rich, right? So I am the problem. So if I'm not the one deciding now to spend 3 days to go here, to go to Finland by train, then who will do that, right? So I should do it. I decided I should do that. And then, well, of course, I could do that alone, but I figured out that maybe if I can convince more people from the community to do the same thing, it would multiply the good impact, right? So that was my decision. And, well, not just that, maybe also communicate about it, make sure that a lot of people are aware, even though they're not doing the same thing, even though people are not necessarily in the Plone community. Just making a point, saying, yeah, that's not crazy, that's something you could do. Flying is not the only option, and look at that, it's possible. And maybe next time they're going to have a decision to make, they're going to say, hey, Eric does this kind of stuff, maybe I could try too, right? So I'm trying to plant a seed there. And communicating about it was also the reason I made this app, you see there, On the Move, which is a small app where you can post picture along your travel. So people can see what I was doing and can see that traveling by train is nice, right? So of course, I know there are alternatives to do this kind of report, but they are not open source. And if I go to an open source conference like this and posting about it using a non-open source tool, what I am, right? An animal or something. So I did implement this thing myself. Just a word about it. It's totally, well, serverless. It's based on GitHub user account to store the data. So you log in with your GitHub account and all the photo and everything going to be stored there. And the rest is just made of pure front end, so Svelte and Tailwind. And it was super, super cool to develop. I had a lot of fun with that. That was my first time with Tailwind, and it was great. And well, as it's front end, you can imagine that it's not as featureful as something which is server-based, like generating thumbnails, for example. Well, probably you can do that. Of course, I'm kidding. You can do that with a browser. What can we do with a browser? So I'm generating thumbnails. I'm also extracting the EXIF metadata from the photo, so I get the position of each photo. This kind of stuff, everything is possible with JavaScript, so no problem. And well, here it is. I can walk you through my way up to there. So yeah, I've been starting on Friday night, Toulouse. Then I went to Paris, where I met Franco. We spent few times there. Not easy to scroll the photo, but it was nice. We saw the cathedral, Notre Dame de Paris. Then we had a jump to the German frontier. Another train bring us to Hamburg, where we had a nice stay, spending the full day after that visiting Hamburg. That was super cool. Then we had a night train to Stockholm. Well, that was lovely as well. Here we met Guido, and then we had the ferry to Turku, which was a bit wild. Honestly, I had a non-planned party there that was great, but on the next day, it was a bit tough. But nevertheless, I made it until there, and it was fantastic. I mean, I loved every part of it, besides yesterday morning.
No, I did a similar thing. I started up and, yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry. Okay, thanks to previous speakers who were so... One more minute.
Okay, 1 more minute. So, started off in Bonn. That was not the time I started off, but this is in Bonn. Next stop, I went up to Kiel in northern Germany, took over the ferry, 21 hours over to Lithuania, Klaipėda. I spent a few days there, made it almost to Russia, but they didn't let me enter. Riga, very nice over there. Then next stop, bus over to Tallinn, Also, very nice city. Beer is way cheaper than there, so I brought like 8 liters of beer with me to drink here in Finland. 2 hours ferry over to Helsinki. Bumped into, is Alin around? Where is he? There. And then train to Jyväskylä. Now we're both here. No worries.
Thank you, guys. All right, Dante next, and after that, publication with timestamp. Who's gonna do that? Okay, good.
Okay, so this is gonna be a short demo of the Plone MCP. I'm gonna start this and see how much Claude can do in 5 minutes. This is a demo site we built during the Voltolite theme training. It is slightly inspired by the Agave theme. And right now it has a bunch of dummy text. It's very simple. It has only 2 pages. And again, only dummy text. So the idea is that Claude will edit all that dummy text and actually add something that is other than. The MCP server, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. This is the website to read more about it. It is basically an open source standard that allows AI, whichever that is, an LLM specifically, to connect and interact with other systems. That could be a database, that could be some sort of application. And we currently have on GitHub the Plone MCP. It is in very, very early stages, and it takes advantage of the REST API that David Click talked about. It basically does requests to the API, and then it can do the same things you could do from Volto, but instead of clicking, you just ask an LLM like Claude to do it. Now, let's see if this is going. It is going. So you can see here the tool calling. Tools are basically functions that you allow the LLM to run for you. And it is not necessarily mapping the REST API, since it's better to handle the tools as if they were tasks. And maybe the API is not necessarily a task, but a part. So making an MCP server is fairly straightforward. A lot of the complicated parts are already done for you. And basically what it takes is some context engineering, which is handling how much information and how are you allowing the LLM to access it. Right here, we're seeing that it connected to our site. It searched what was in it, found some pages, and we're around half the time, so I don't know how much it's going to be able to do. But the MCP, as it is right now, it includes tools to add blocks, edit blocks, create pages, read on the site what's the current content, and to change the workflow state of content. It is, again, on early stages, but any type of effort and contribution would be very appreciated. Well, it's updating a single block, so I don't know how much it's actually going to be able to do in the remaining minute. But let's see if something has changed yet. Not yet. Okay. I think Claude is a little slow today. The prompt? Sure. Yes. It is basically requesting, what I explained to go and change the dummy text for actual text. For a made-up thing called Gravity Labs, that sounds pretty cool, so hopefully we'll inspire Claude to do something cool. And specifying that it shouldn't change really the structure of the blocks and the blocks that are already there, only the dummy text in them. And at the end, I am requesting, which definitely won't have time to do, to create an extra page and add a career section for this made of Gravity Labs. But then let's try once more. Okay, the slider block now is changed. Now it's saying something about unlocking the mysteries of gravity. Okay, the introduction block is also updated now. let's see what else. Okay, I don't know if it's going to have time to do much more, but hopefully this gives an idea of the possibilities of how to interact with the Plone site through natural language, like in a chat. Right now, I think only Claude Desktop supports local MCP servers. ChatGPT probably will add it later, but eventually we could also deploy the MCP server and then make it accessible to other applications. Well, that's getting close to my time, so that was it. Thanks.
Thank you, Dante. It was to the second perfect performance. So next up, publication with timestamp, Andre. And after that, photo competition by me. Okay.
Well, hello. Since 1st July, Walloon municipalities must publish some regulations with timestamps. I show you how it's work. First, I had a new regulation, a waste tax regulation, for example. I fill some fields and it's not very important, this field. And after that, I put the publication in PDF. On the tabs timestamp, it's by default the timestamping is enabled. I save my publication for the people, and after that I publish it. And now the regulation is published for the people, and you can download the ASCII file who prove the date of the document. And if you want to verify this file, you can go to a new form, and it's sorry. Voilà. You drag and drop the file, and it's verify if the file is correct. You can find the add-on on GitHub collective timestamp made by Affinitic and Antoine Duchesne. That's it.
Thank you. Next up is photo competition by Riku-Pekka and Rita. And after that, actually, Mike has a talk about Finnish language, right? Perfect. Yeah, I made a mistake before, but don't worry about it. I wonder if you remember A-Bar conference 2 years ago? Yay. Okay, good. There was lots of cool things there, and one idea that came to us is that for this conference we also want to do one of the fun things that we did in A-Bar, and that is a photo competition. So we are probably gonna put up a Discord channel that contains that says that this is a photo competition, and you take a pretty picture around here during the next couple of days, and then you post it to the Discord channel, and whoever gets the most thumbs up, either because it's the best picture or you kind of I don't know, do something else for the thumbs up. you will win a special prize. So make a picture that is somewhere from here. Unfortunately, we don't have those A-bar cows. They are on a plate, I guess, in here. So something else maybe. But photo competition, special prize in Discord. That's it. Thank you. And next up, Mike, gonna talk about Finnish. And after that, it's Sally and perhaps me again. So give it up to Mike.
Okay. Okay. So, hi, my name is Mike. I was here in 1988, and I've only got like 10 Finnish words that I can remember from that time. But I was here for a year, and I did learn to pronounce Finnish. So even though I can't speak it, I can help you learn to speak it, or at least pronounce what's there. So the first one I've got is, let's just go through the first thing. Finnish is phonetic, right? So if you see a word, say it. Don't skip it out. Nothing further down the line will change the sound of that word. So mat and mate, the E at the end changes the A, yeah? From mat to mate, not in Finnish. Every single letter is got one sound and you read it as you go. So, okay, so let's go a bit later. So, and then the two things that you need to remember is there's two A sounds. The one is A, which is normally mat, like we found, and that has got two dots on the top of it, like in uvascular, okay? The other one is a, like in asko. Asko is not here. So the a in asko is different to the a with the two dots on top, okay? So his name is not Asko, his name is Asko. So the other part of it is the O is an O, okay? So Asko's name is Asko. The other thing to remember is that every single letter must be pronounced. So where is Matti? Matti is actually Matti. I don't know if you've met him. He's not around either. Anyway, another one of the guys helping out today, or this conference. So Matti, M-A-T-T-I, so you actually have to pronounce both things. It's an A sound, it's an A without the dots, so it's Matti. It's not Mat, because the A doesn't have the dots on it. The other one to remember is Erko, Erka. So it's not Erka, it's E-R-K-K-A, so it's Erka. Okay, you got to get both K's in there. Then the most important one, the man of the moment, is Rikupeka. Rikupeka is not Rikupeka at all. Rikupeka is actually got an A at the end without the two dots, so that means it ends in A. Other big thing about Finnish is that we South Africans have it as well, is a good R sound. Okay, so when you're going to say Rikupeka, you got to get a good R in there to get it right. Okay. The other thing is that it's a double K, so it's Rikupeka, Rikupeka. Okay, so that's just something to remember. Say all the words, say all the letters in the word. The other one is obviously Kitos, and that's the incorrect pronunciation. Why? Because there's two I's. So, Kitos. Kitos.
Kiitos, Mike. That was lovely. All right, no need. Yeah, one more. So it's Sally and probably me. Yeah.
So earlier today we had a panel discussion on add-ons, which was good. You can catch it on YouTube later. And a surprise to me, there was stimulated by Eriko, there was a hue and cry that we should bring back the add-on competition. We did this in Barcelona, we did it in Tokyo, and we did it in Ferrara. And then came COVID, and we stopped doing it. We didn't bring it back after that. But there are a lot of Plone add-ons. It's rather difficult to know where to start if you're not totally plugged into the community. So we held a sort of a competition in which we encouraged people to vote for their favorite add-ons. We put ballots in everybody's goodie bags, which we won't do this year because we didn't do it. We didn't think of it until about 2 hours ago. So we printed out ballots, and maybe, can you help me? You take one and stand at that side, and I'll take another batch and stand at this side, and when you leave the auditorium, we're gonna hand you your ballot, and your goal, well, we can do it when you leave. Your goal is to write your favorite add-ons on this ballot, and hopefully we'll have a box or something at the registration table.
Yes, and hopefully I will print another batch of those papers because
we'll
there's not enough for everybody yet.
So we have more ballots tomorrow at the registration desk. Fill in your favorite add-ons, drop it off at the registration desk tomorrow night. I'll compile them, and on Friday we'll announce what are the winner add-ons for the most popular 2025 Plone add-ons.
Yes, thank you. And that concludes the lightning talks today.